Alright, welcome back everybody to building Thomson Island. Thomson Island is the Cedar Fair inspired theme park that I am building in Planet Coaster, well at least attempting to. And I have been doing it for 2 episodes now, and this is the 3rd. So, these videos are on average like 30 minutes long, and that's really sped up from the original footage. So, we've made a lot of progress in hindsight. And, it definitely looks like the park is filling up. Like, last episode, we made a lot of progress. We made a lot of work on just a variety of stuff. And it didn't look polished at the end of it. We worked on the security building and a refreshment station there at the end of that International Street kind of thing that we're going for there. Or Main Street, or whatever. Like I said, if you guys have a name for the street that you'd like, just leave it down in the comments below, because I'm kind of out of ideas right now. And it's going to take a few episodes to implement that, because I've pre-shot and pre-recorded the voiceover for a lot of these episodes prior to releasing them. In months in advance. Yes, I am not holding back. This is not something I just shot yesterday. So, this is a thing I have been planning in advance. So it's just going to take a while for your ideas to get implemented. But yeah, with that being said, we've made a lot of progress to the plaza, which is going to be at the end of that street, which is going to house our first roller coaster and our first flat ride, which is going to be a carousel type setup. And yeah, we already completed the carousel completely. Well, almost completely. We're going to put on some finishing touches today. And also, we're going to work a little bit more on the station. I'm not giving anything away, the station of the coaster. So today we're just going to develop that plaza a little bit and make sure it has that extra polish, because right now it looks really ugly. So we're going to try to transform that into something better. And we're going to expand the whole entire coaster setup so we can get started next episode on the coaster, hopefully. And also, I decided to get started on a garden, which is going to be in the back of the plaza almost a little bit. I was going to put it off, but I just decided to get started right away, because I decided that the coaster that we're going to make is going to intertwine with the gardens a little bit. So, we'll just see how it goes. I've got a lot of footage for this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy. This is episode 3 of Building Thomson Island. Okay, wow, so 3rd episode already. I mean, it's moving kind of fast. I mostly mean from your perspective, not mine. Yes, it's kind of moving slow, because I've been filming this for weeks now, so it's not moving that fast from my point of view, but from what I already have edited and stuff, yeah, it's moving pretty quickly, because think about it, we already have a plaza and a main street done for the most part, and it doesn't look that shabby either. So for the amount of time that we worked with, the amount of screen time here, each episode, I mean 30 minutes is a lot of time. So we've had roughly an hour of video right now, but we've done a lot actually, and I'm just now kind of seeing that. So right now, right off the bat, my whole entire goal for this episode, well, for the beginning at least, is to work on this coaster. And more specifically, part of realism is, in most coasters, there is a photo booth. There is a place that you can get on-ride photos. And we're going to do a kind of similar thing here. I'm not going to reveal exactly how the process works, but we're going to have a very cool kind of method of simulating real on-ride photos. And I think it's gonna be pretty cool, honestly. Yeah, I definitely like the way that we're gonna try to do this right now. And that is essentially kind of, actually, I'm not gonna tell you, because it's just too cool. It's just too cool to tell you. But anyways, this is basically gonna be the building where you get your ride photos. And this isn't a feature in the game or anything, so we kind of just have to be creative about how we do this. And it's not gonna be functional or anything, but it'll be realistic at least. And I spent a lot of time on this building, way too much time on this building. So, I'm gonna be fast forwarding through this a little bit, and by a little bit I mean a lot, because really you do not need to see this. You do not need to see all of this in its pureness and in its raw form. And trust me, I'm gonna spare your brain cells and just let you skip to the good parts. I mean, it's kind of, that being said, it's kind of hard to find good parts, because it's pretty much just me copying and pasting tiles over and over. It is really not that entertaining on second thought, but I hope my commentary's here to just kind of lighten up the mood a little bit, so you're not just watching a time lapse. But yeah, anyways, I put a lot of furnishing into this building. I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat. That's kind of the reason this building took so long, because I fleshed it out not only with furniture, but with, fake employees too. What you'll see a lot in this park is I use a lot of those animatronics, those human ones, and human ones. Of course, a human one. Yes. Thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate your input there. Yes, of course it's human. So, anyways, I use those human-like ones that look like park employees, and I just put them in this little area right here to make it look like you can actually interact with people here. And we even went as far as putting some people in the back room there. Nobody's gonna see the back room realistically. Nobody's gonna see that little back area we have, but it's better to just furnish it out because, realistically, employees are going to need some place to work and just chill and rest in the back there. Because, as in a photo booth, yes, you're gonna need somebody to manage the actual photos themselves. So, and who has photo passes, who has all of that. So that's kind of what we did there. Then I kind of just recolored all these people's uniforms to a brown color to match the coaster. It's a wooden coaster. Oh, here, I really like these assets here. These are the measuring poles you have there to measure your height and see if you're okay to ride the coaster. And I really like these. These are really nice Steam Workshop items. I can't get enough of these, honestly, and you're gonna see me using these a lot throughout the series. I really like what people have done with this, and they should honestly just be a feature in the base game, but they're not really. So we kind of just had to do what we had to do there. Anyways, we just kind of put 2 desks in the back there for, the back employees, you know what I mean, the administrators, I guess. So yeah, what you will find is I am going to shell out, kind of expand upon the idea of ride crews. So there is going to be a whole entire ride crew, and we're gonna give them names actually. So, I'm gonna leave that up to you to decide the ride crew's names. So, you can just put names down in the description. They can be as outrageous and silly as you want, as long as they sound like names. So, yeah, we're just gonna kind of leave them up to you there. So all of these people are going to have names, and there are going to be roles, like actual roles that these people fill. So there's going to be supervisors, there's going to be people working in photos, there's going to be people monitoring the queues, and we're just going to have this whole entire system. So every ride has a supervisor, every ride has a whole entire crew there, almost. And that's kind of the idea we're going for here. Because that's realistically what all rides have. No, it is not just one person in the station. So yes, we are definitely fleshing out the operating team there. And that all starts with, just doing these workers right here. It seems kind of insignificant, but it's definitely just it helps add to the realism. And we're gonna spend a painstaking amount of time recoloring the uniforms here to make it look like they actually belong here. And also just diversifying them, because, of course we need to diversify them. People are all different. They're not all just the same model of person. As fast as that would be to do, it's not realistic. And like I said, the whole entire idea of this series isn't necessarily realism, but we don't want to make it too outlandish either. So we want to make it as realistic as possible without completely stressing it, if you know what I mean. And part of that just includes fleshing out these ride buildings and these ride crews, and I think that's kind of important in my opinion. And yes, in the future, I didn't do it this episode, but in the future we are going to add a ride crew for the carousel. It's going to be a small one, but it still matters at the end of the day, and I think that's important. All right, as in the background here, you can see we're fleshing out this photo team, I guess. And this slacker over here is taking a sip of coffee, well, trying to. He's just sitting there, honestly. He's just we should sack him, to be honest. He's just not working hard at all. Anyways, as you can see, we're adding a sign right here. I ended up going with this old Western type sign, and that's not really the theme we're going for here, but I think it fits the general aesthetic of this being like an old-timey area. And now I'm just gonna really fast forward past this part, but we're building one of those buttons that the ride ops in the station push to confirm that all of the restraints are all good and that the train is ready to be dispatched. And now we're just adding the 4 ride ops there that are going to be checking the restraints. And yeah, that's kind of what we're going for here. Obviously the control booth right now doesn't cut it, so you know we're making a it's not really that much of a different booth, but I think it generally works well for what we're trying to do here. It encloses the ride op, and you know we can just act like there's glass there or something like that. And I decided that we couldn't put there were no gates to put there, so I just ended up putting a half window there. Oh yeah, speaking of, the way we did that, enclosed the ride booth there, is I took a bunch of windows and basically flipped them the other way around, because then it's just a wood panel, and that's a scenery object, so you can place it wherever you want, and you just cover the ride booth with windows. And I got that tip from Nerd Chacho, I think that's how you say his name, and he's a great Planet Coaster YouTuber. I highly recommend you check him out if you want to get, you know, very creative tips on how to make more realistic parks. And in fact, I actually got all of these scenery items from him too. So, you know, he's been a big help with making this series feel more realistic, if you will. And you know, massive thanks to him, because without him, I wouldn't have made a park this realistic as it stands right now. One of the things I definitely learned from him is that, well, I guess I didn't learn from him, but I definitely did realize that this needed to be implemented, and that's handicap access. Of course, there are going to be people in wheelchairs and handicapped people trying to access your rides. And, well, you need to do that by, well, making a handicapped-friendly route. And you can do that by making a handicapped ramp off the exit area. And that's exactly what we did. That's the reason we created that new ramp, because I realized that there was no way into the station without going up some stairs. So, you know, we just kind of had to make a handicap ramp there. Because, like I said, going for realism as much as we can. Right now, we're making a refill or a refresh station or whatever it's called in Cedar Fair parks. It's obviously not going to function the same exact way. We're just going to put vending machines there. But essentially those stations where you basically just refill your Coke, your Coke or your soda or your water or whatever you have, and just refilling your cup pretty much. And that's kind of what we're going for here a little bit. And we're also putting 2 more food stalls up here. Now, unfortunately, the thing that really upset me here is the stall to the left, right there, the barbecue stall. Whatever we did would not hook up to the path. And here it did hook up to the path, but then it looked really weird with the wall. So we just decided to put it there anyways, just for aesthetic. And yeah, nobody's gonna actually use that. And this guy technically can't get out of the food stall, this worker, because he's trapped in there. But yeah, I think everything's okay. All right, it's not the end of the world. Okay, now as you can see, we're placing our 3 vending machines down here. We had to go into a separate building for that one because, of course, the grid had to be just completely wonky, because that's what the grid does. But our refresh station here is looking pretty nice, and that is good enough for me. Now, like, if I'm not mistaken, well, first we work on a little bit of a roof enclosure here. I mean, we kind of fail at it, so we just, like, you know, kind of go for this very simple kind of layout here. And, of course, the grid acted all weird again, so we had to, you know, just create another effects to that, so what can you do, honestly? But that's that refill, or refresh, whatever it's called. We'll find out in a minute when I add the sign there. It's looking pretty complete, and that's pretty good in my opinion. Now we're just going to, well, if I'm not mistaken, if I stop hovering all over the place here, like a little idiot, like looking at my hard work, oh yeah, right, we're going to kind of polish this ramp, because it doesn't look the most realistic. And I will tell you, this does take a lot of time. So I'm just going to skip past this right now and, you know, show you the final product. Essentially, it's just a lot of like balancing between the layers and the levels. And basically what we're going to do is fill out this whole entire wooden area with concrete, so it looks like there is a very good support there, and it's not just the ramp hovering. So I think it turned out pretty good, but you really don't need to see this. It's just a lot of hard work, even though that part right there is pretty satisfying. But I am going to skip it just because you really don't need to see this. And when it was all said and done, I think the final product was pretty good. It definitely looked good, but now we're just doing the same thing, but on a smaller scale. Don't worry, it doesn't take as much time. We're doing it with this kind of stairwell too, because no park leaves a stairwell out in the open like this. Well, I wouldn't say stairwell. It's just stairs. Yep, it's just stairs. But yeah, essentially just finishing that up. It's just gonna be a matter of putting a few ramps there, and that's pretty much done. Like, there really isn't much else to it. Just adding some concrete there to make it look kind of realistic, and that's pretty much it for that. And we're making this little pathway over here because once we fill over this whole entire area with tile, I was struggling a little bit there to get the railing to disappear, but we got it. But I wanted to make a little bit of a plaza over here just in case we needed it in the future. Not really that necessary, but you know, we'll just see if we need it for something in the future. Now, as you can see, we're starting the painstaking process of actually kind of filling this whole entire plaza out with tile. And I did get it pretty much perfect the first time with the rotation, so we didn't really have to worry about that. At this point, it was just really satisfying mapping the whole entire area out. And this is the part where you'll see like the plaza become really complete, if you know what I mean. It definitely looks a lot better after this. And, you know, I think it just has a little bit of a better aesthetic. And don't worry, we are going to fill in those gaps between that and the carousel. But now we're just, you know, filling out this whole entire queue to make it look, like I said, more realistic. And these little gaps behind the railing, we are going to fill those in with scenery and greenery in the future. So don't you worry about that. That is all going to be resolved in the future. So there's no issue with that. Then I realized that, you know, these concrete blocks were technically placed lower than the wood planks we did on the interior of this building, so we were pretty much free to just, you know, do this. And I think it turned out really good, like really nice. And now we're working on just expanding this plaza, and you know, really doing the next area where our garden is going to be. Because yes, you saw the title of this episode. We are going to be building a garden in this little square here, and I'm probably gonna have to fast forward a lot through it because it took a lot of time to do and perfect. But overall, I think it's actually my favorite part of the park right now. It's my favorite area because it just looks so nice. One of my favorite things to do in this game is just the absolute greenery and the shrubbery and all the flowers. I think everything just looks so good. And so nice. Even on low graphics, it just looks absolutely great. And I just love the aesthetic of how it turned out. As a kid, I used to go to all these places where, you know, you kind of hang out in this chill environment. And, you know, it was just a great spot for relaxing. There was really nothing to do there. Like, nothing of importance, I guess. But it was just a generally chill environment. And it's gonna be the same here. No spoilers, but there's going to be an area for, you know, concerts and stuff. So, like, mini concerts, mini shows where a small band could come and perform if they wanted to. And there's not a lot of seating, there isn't a huge crowd, but it's a nice little place to relax, you know, let your food digest, just, like, hang out, eat some food if you want to. And, like, this plays into the historical kind of nature of this park, which I'll get into more later, but, this idea is that this park, Thomson Island, isn't just a coaster park. It's not just about the coasters. You also have a lot of parks, and this isn't going to be the only park. It's going to be the main park, but we are going to do a few more of these. And it's also just a nice place to chill for locals. It's just going to be a nice spot for relaxation, and also for those thrill seekers that want a good spot for thrill seeking. So now we're building a little bit of a shed for just food, I guess. I think that's a milkshake stand, and we also created a working barbecue thing, I think. Or maybe that's hot dogs, I am not sure. You know, these brands, the brands in this game are just so ridiculously just silly and just really comedic. Like Hot Dog Squad and Chief Beef and the stupid cow mascot is roaming the park for the Cosmic Cow brand. And it really, I like the brands in this game because it just gives you an opportunity to, like, if you wanted to, put sponsorships, you know, like make the park have sponsors and advertisers like real life parks do. So I think it's a very good opportunity there, and yeah, like you just gotta love the brands there. I decided to try something a little bit different with the roof this time, and not that much different, but I think it generally helps the aesthetic of this building a little bit. Makes it feel a little bit more old-timey, because that's the point. This is a very old park. It's landscaped, but it is relatively untouched. Now I'm not sure if these benches are facing the right direction, because the guests are going to be. There is technically one correct direction that the guests faced while sitting on a bench, and there's a very high chance that they're facing the opposite direction of the stage. So we'll have to fix that later on. But now that's essentially our main kind of like premise behind that. And now we are building this kind of these speakers here to play music. Yes, there is going to be a band up there, not playing, but they're just going to be taking a little bit of a break. We're also putting these awesome lights up, and I think that just generally helps the aesthetic a little bit. Oh, I think I just noticed something that I might not have fixed. I didn't realize that these had a side. I didn't realize that the wire was obscuring these lights the other way. And I think I may have, because I placed one section of lights back there correctly, but I do not think that I think I may have accidentally flipped around one of those that shouldn't have been flipped around. So that's just really goofy. I don't know why they couldn't have just made the wire, like, you know, go in between the lights and not, like, obscure them if you get them the other way around. But it is what it is, and I think it definitely turned out really, really good and added to the environment a little bit. Because these aren't, like, festive lights or anything, they're just, like, they just add to the environment a little bit, and I really like them. They just make for a more chill environment. And I'm just, like, as it stands right now, this section of the park just really gives me a very strong sense of nostalgia almost. And yeah, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's just a very chill and homey kind of, there it goes again with the homey, but a very chill environment. And yeah, this is definitely a location I would more than be happy to visit in real life and just hang out at with friends. Because this is, yeah, I'm not trying to sound like, yeah, I'd 100% rather be at an amusement park, but if we had something like this, you know, I'd definitely go chill here. Maybe just eat some food over here, because this is just a really chill part of the park. I just cannot get over how well this turned out. I'm just really happy with it. I was contemplating putting that barbershop quartet right there in the stage to make it look like there was an active band performing, but I decided not to. I just decided to go with a band taking a little bit of a break, you know, intermission. So, and I think it still sells the idea pretty much. And even when the band is not playing, there is this really chill, you know, kind of idle music playing, and it kind of like encompasses this whole entire area. So you hear this really nice music all throughout. And, you know, in fact, I'll just put that exact music that is playing in the background of this video. And yeah, it turned out really, really nice. I'm very happy with it. Alright, so I just skipped a giant part there where we just decorated the stage a little bit in the surrounding area. But I think this part was kind of cool where I made this intermission sign, you know, put up on this lamppost here. It's a double purpose. Oh, speaking of lamppost, I know I still gotta do lighting, and yeah, we are going to get to that. in a future episode. It's either episode 4 or episode 5 that we work on lighting. I don't really remember if I started lighting after the coaster or before the coaster. I wasn't entirely sure on that, but we'll see soon enough, because I'm literally just about to edit those episodes and do the voiceovers for those right after this, because today I've got some free time, so more than often. So we're just kind of grinding through it a little bit, and who knows, I might even film another episode after this. So yeah, anyways, the lighting did turn out very nice, and I think it generally just ended up being a very colorful kind of environment, because the idea of this park is that it's going to be open very late at night, and like later than most parks, because it is a kind of multi-entertainment venue here, where it's not just coasters, it's also a very nice park. And so like basically all of the coasters and most of the rides are going to be closed after, like I'm not sure if we can actually set this option, but most of the coasters and most of the rides are going to be closed down after when it gets dark, pretty much, just like normal closing time, maybe like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and opening early in the morning. But the park is going to be open, for the more park areas, like the chill areas, getting food, the shops. It's going to be open like very late at night. So that's why I'm putting an emphasis on lighting in the series. Not yet, but I will, because there are going to be people who are going to see it at night, all lit up. And I think that's very important to do, especially in these park areas, because that's where a lot of people are going to be at night, just relaxing and chilling. And yeah, so I think it definitely turned out to be this very cozy feel. Once again, I'm going for cozy in this park, so it did work out pretty well. Anyways, right now I am working on a gift shop, the main gift shop in this kind of area of the park, and this is going to be just a generally fleshed out gift shop, and it's going to be the first area accessible to the public that's really furnished. So I'm kind of working on the pathing in here so that people can actually go walk around the area, and like I said, having more issues with the paths not hooking up together, but when it was all said and done, I think it turned out quite alright. But just so that people come in here, just like begin with, we are adding some gift shops over here, and I was kind of hooked on the sound that these shops make when you place them down. It's really interesting, the sounds they make. They like play like, "Hey, it's fantastic." It's just so weird. So I just like kind of spam place those down just to see the variations of what would play. Hey, I'm really weird. Don't judge me, all right? Anyways, now that those are all placed down, I am adding wood flooring to this place so that it looks like there aren't really any gaps in the floor, and that there isn't any grass in this building, because indoor shops usually don't have grass. Like, yeah, that's pretty common, I'd say. I mean, I don't really find that many amusement park shops that have grass in them. Even though that would be a pretty interesting design choice. Maybe one day I'll make a interior shop that has just grass everywhere. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I will. Anyways, I'm putting these little cubbies down that people can keep their loose articles in while they're riding the coaster. It's a really simple design. It also enables thieves to just straight up snatch your stuff while you're on the coaster. But like I said, this is kind of just following the trend of hoping that the people in this game aren't very wrongdoing. They're not very evil-minded, and Anyways, I'm placing down these paths here and adding the railings so that when we add the furniture, we make sure we kind of like make sure that nobody clips through the furniture, and we identify what is a path and what isn't a path. Also, you just saw I bring up an arcade machine there, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but we do end up building an arcade relatively soon, and I think it turned out to be a very good arcade. It was also Snoopy themed, so, well, like loosely Snoopy themed. So I think, judging that, if you watch the whole series, you can kind of predict where that arcade is going to go. But using all those arcade games, we're going to create a decently sized arcade for our guests to enjoy. Now, I don't know about you, but I was a big sucker for arcade games and arcades as a kid. And I think they're just a fundamental part of a park. So it's only normal that we add at least one for our park guests to enjoy there. Also, just thought I'd put this out there, like personal preference. I am a huge fan of these arcade machine models that the Theme Maker's Toolkit creators have made. Like, I really enjoy them. Those are very well done machines, and I'm a huge fan of the way those look. And I'm excited to see you. I'm excited for you guys to see me use those because those are very underrated scenery pieces. Anyways, now we're just kind of crowding the shelves up with a bunch of stuff. You know, just a bunch of drinks here, a bunch of coffee mugs, shirts, I guess, and just a variety of other stuff here. I contemplated. Actually, I think I did settle with just placing those down. It doesn't really matter what we put down. It's not that big of a deal. And, you know, either way, it's going to turn out relatively okay. So, just putting a bunch of stuffed animals there. It takes a while to decorate this because, you know, I'm just putting attention to detail first here. I'm just putting a bunch of other mugs and cups down here. Let's just imagine they have Planet Coaster or Thomson Island themes to them. We're also going to be putting up a shirt rack over here. I only have like one shirt model here that really hangs up, but I think it generally turned out okay. And of course, it's quite realistic having a shirt there. I took a diner table that I already had, and I used for the diner there, and I kind of just put that in there, just to house like bags that shoppers can put their stuff in, if you know what I mean. Just because that's kind of a fundamental for every shop in an amusement park. You have to have bags that people can carry around their merchandise in. Here's a top tip. If you're going to an amusement park, wait until the very end of the day to get your merchandise, because it is a real pain having to carry around all that stuff, even in the bag, because that just gets way... Like, if you have a shirt, it's going to stay there for a while. I recommend, you know, going for merch like an hour or so before park close. So generally, you want to have all your rides done. You want to get all your credits, you want to ride all of your coasters about an hour and a half before park close, maybe later if you absolutely have to, but that is just because a lot of parks close their rides an hour or so before park closing, and sometimes they will close the ride's gift shop down with the ride as well. So you just got to watch out for that and make sure you get all of your merch kind of early on, but not that late. So you don't want to wait that much to where all the parks are closed down. But just keep a mental note of where the merch you like is at, and then just go back to that area not too late in the day, but not too early either, because you don't want to be carrying around all of your stuff. Even if there are bags, it just generally isn't a good idea. Just take it from me. I've been there, and back when I was a GP, and yeah, it's like one of the worst things you can do. You should never, ever take your merch and just hold on to it for the whole day, because that is so annoying. Chances are you're holding on to a lot of stuff already, and you don't want to be paying... Like, worst case scenario, you could just put that stuff in a locker, but you really do not want to be paying for a locker unless you absolutely have to. So you want to, on that same note, you have to pack minimal, I guess. Just, oh my god, yeah. Look at these plushes. They're just so horrible. Horribly modeled. And I just put one of those in a random gift shop. I mean, not a gift shop, a random food stall for no reason at all. Oh, it's just so creepy. I'm gonna get rid of those models. I will never use those. Those look so bad. Anyways, as you can see, I'm putting in models of the Planet Coaster game. Yes, we are selling the Planet Coaster game in Planet Coaster itself. That's mind-boggling. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying, make sure to pack minimal. It's just the same idea as holding merch. You don't want to lug around your bags around the park, unless you really have somebody that doesn't like coasters. You know, somebody that's not going to be riding. You know, like a chaperone of sorts, I guess, if you want to call it that. That just kind of watches your bags and stuff while you and your group go on rides. They're gonna stay back, and that also works. But then I kind of end up feeling bad for that party because they're just lugging around your stuff as you're having fun, and they're just sitting there doing nothing. So, you know, it's kind of a lose-lose situation, honestly. You just gotta you just got to do what makes sense in your situation. Like if you have a friend that doesn't mind doing it, and just doesn't like coasters, then that's okay. You can just do that. If not, you can also rent a locker. That's also an option. You can also just like if you have a fanny pack, I know a lot of parks allow you to put your stuff in there, but still, you just want to pack minimally if you can. And like I said, don't be carrying your merchandise all over the park if you can't help it either. If you can't help it. So yeah, just some pro tips there. Along the series, if you guys want to, I will be shelling out some top tips from a coaster enthusiast, so you guys can have your best day at a theme park. I might also make a few videos on that because I am making coaster content. So, I might just do that, but I'll also sprinkle in those tips there as well. So, I think it's very important to have your whole entire, like all those tips planned out and all of those tips in mind, so you can have your best day at a park. And yeah, I think a lot of the park tips vary park to park based on the policies and all of that stuff. But a lot of parks, you definitely want to plan ahead. Because it just absolutely sucks getting to a park and then realizing that your kind of plan isn't going to work out. Because that's bad for everyone. That's bad for you, that's bad for the park employees, that's bad for everyone. And you just generally want to avoid situations like that arising. And the best way to do that is study your park. Make sure, if you want to, just go on YouTube and get some park tips. There are lots of people qualified in giving you tips on YouTube. Like Kennywood, for example. Take Kennywood. After the shooting that happened there, the security measures got a lot more strict, and now you're barely allowed to take a bag in there at all. So make sure you know the park policies before going to a park. And yeah, but mostly the tip today is don't carry stuff if you can help it. So merchandise, pack lightly, get only the essentials, get your season pass, get your phone, get all of that, but don't pack extra. And I will be giving you lots of top tips, park tips in the future as well. Also, speaking of lockers here, that's what we're doing right now. So this is going to be the locker for the main plaza here. These are going to be the lockers for, the coaster. That we're going to be. It's a little bit of ways from the coaster, but it's pretty good. I think it went okay, but this took just so long with the selection tool. Oh no, this was absolutely horrible to do. I hated every second of doing this. Never again will I do it this way. I will find some better way to do these lockers, and I will try to avoid doing them at all if possible, because these are just horrible to do. Anyways, now we're putting these smaller lockers down, which are going to be even harder to do now because they're smaller lockers. And oh my god, these were just horrible. Oh my god, yeah, they need to find a better locker system to use here, because these are Theme Maker's Toolkit items, and yeah, they need to add official lockers. One thing that I think they can do better in the future games is, just add more park facilities. So games is a huge one. So obviously you want your games. That's a very huge part of parks, and you can find games on what's it called, the Theme Maker's Toolkit, but they aren't usable by guests, and that's always a pain. So like I said, I think functional games would be just such a must in this in Planet Coaster 2. I think that's very important. Also, I noticed in Planet Zoo that they definitely fleshed out their facilities a little bit more. So, just integrating that into Planet Coaster 2 would be great as well. And, yeah, I think that's, I think it's generally okay the way it is, but we need more facilities. Let's just be real. We need lockers, we need photos, because there are just, and not to mention water parks, all of that. We need those. So, yeah. Also, I noticed that people were walking through the walls in that security building there, so I just made sure to, place barriers there so people wouldn't glitch through the walls. Anyways, I just took a little bit of a ride on the carousel there, because, while building an amusement park, like, honestly, who can even blame you for just, like, chilling and, like, having a seat? Like, who can even blame you? Anyways, right now I try to experiment with clipping like multiple different buildings into each other to make curved buildings. I think I talked about this in the past a little bit, but it ended up like not working with the kind of architectural style I wanted to go for here. Because I want to continue this kind of, right next to this is where the arcade is going to be fine. Yeah, I'll expose it. I'll let you know. I'll let you know where it's supposed to be. Yes, there is going to be an arcade right next to this. So we're kind of just using that same kind of, I don't know, like design where it's just going to be like attached to, you know, one another, and it's just one whole unit of a building. So the way this is going to be laid out is the staff area, the backstage area is just going to end right here. I haven't completed that yet as of, you know, doing this, recording this, but yeah, we're going to do the staff area. We're going to take like one episode to just wrap that up sometime in the future. I don't know when though, it's not really at the top of my priorities. Anywho, right now we are working on a restaurant. Yes, that is right, another restaurant, and to those who say that I am overdoing it with the restaurants, I am not, because like I said, not just roller coasters. This is a entertainment venue here. Lots of stuff to do. Lots of food options, lots of dining options. We're trying to make this park complete in every aspect and, you know, feel kind of whole. So it's an ultimate experience that people will like to enjoy. And like I said, with the different roof design, I think it's important to spice it up a little bit. You know, I think it's a little bit janky with how these roof things work. Oh, speaking of roof, one thing that really annoyed me while doing the commentary, well, not doing the commentary, but editing this and then just watching the first episode over, that I did, I said roof a lot, like with a V. I didn't pronunciate my F's there. I just said roofs over and over, and it was like half and half. Like half the time I'd say roofs, half the time I would say roofs. And it just was really weird. So now it is my ultimate goal in life to never say the word roof again. I have no idea why I said that. I have really no idea, because I've never said roofs like that before. I've never said roofs. Like I've never ever said that. I always just said it like roof, like it should be, with an F, with a capital F there. And just the grid system being very annoying right there. Did you see that? Like, the grid system left a little gap there. A little gap. Like, just 1 unit off. Like, 1 millimeter off. And it looked super weird. So then you had to redo the whole entire roof. That is just so annoying. Like, they gotta change this. And I know it's probably my fault for not sticking to a bigger grid, but, like, still, come on, man. Come on. Anyways. Working on this little lining here because I think it looks a lot better. Yeah, just working around this. It's just going to be a wrap around the building. Like I said, there's going to be another building right next to it, so we're not going to keep that wrap around the building there. And now that we're done with that piece of shit ass building there, we're going to be focusing on the garden over here. And at the end of this, you will actually discover that I, in my past life, was actually a florist. Yes, that is correct. I worked in the flower industry, and, you know, I was pretty damn good at it too. Like, bro, I was a millionaire in my past life. I had a huge ass family off of making flowers and doing gardens and stuff. And, you know, that aspect of me, like that hidden aspect of me that I've only just now discovered, you know, it really plays into how good this garden turned out. Like, as you can see, it's just the intricacies in life of me putting the bushes around the trees, which is definitely what happens. In real life, there are 100% bushes that grow out of the roots of trees. That is what actually happens in real life. 100% confirmed from an expert. Like, you know, just sharing my insider advice, my insider knowledge. You know, honestly, flowers don't really need water. I think like flowers are like capable of operating by themselves and capable of being self-sustained. You know, I don't really think they need water. Like, think about it. Why would flowers need water? Like, they're not even living. Like, they're literally just objects. As you can see here by this game, they aren't living. They're literally put in the scenery. You know, these are objects. These are assets. These are 3D models. Nothing more. Like, why would they be so reliant on water? It doesn't make any sense. And even if they are real, that's like very irresponsible of them, because it's like, It's like a 21-year-old kid living in his mom's basement. It's like, really? Like, you're multiple years old and you're still relying on your owner's water. Like, you really can't water yourself? Like, are you kidding me? Like, these people are so immature. They have no function in life. Like, they can't be independent even if they tried. Like, I don't know, man. It's just flowers are honestly pieces of shit. They're like very spoiled and I don't know. Like just a quick point. Do you see flowers working night shifts? Do you see flowers working at all? Do they have any jobs? No, they're just unemployed. They have no purpose. They just sit there and just be flowers. Like, they're just utterly useless. They have no purpose in society. It's like, just grow up to be something different, something useful to society. Like, my God, these flowers are just so lazy. Have you ever had that thought? Like, my God, just so immature and lazy. Like, they refuse to grow up. Anyways, I don't know why I went on that rant or what that rant even meant, but, sharing my words of wisdom, it is confirmed that flowers are not real. Take it from me. Flowers in real life are actually just 3D models, so, what can I say? That's it. That's done. Discussion shut down, archived, boom, officially scientifically confirmed. Flowers aren't real. That's the lesson we've learned today, ladies and gentlemen. Flowers are not real. What if there actually are people out there that use that excuse? Like, walk up to Area 51 and just say, hey, I worked here in my past life. Like, come on, I have level 5 clearance, just let me in. And then they actually let them in. That's honestly a pro strat, honestly. Like, that could even work, possibly, like, on a smaller scale. Like, if you wanted to get hired, if you found a boss, if you found somebody that actually, like, hardcore believed in, like, past lives and stuff like that, you could just, like, say that exact thing, like, hey, I worked for you in a past life, let me work for you again, come on, I'm just a reincarnation of your past worker, let me work for you again, come on, no real issue here. But then again, I'd be kind of hesitant receiving a paycheck from someone who actually fell for that. How to get hired at any job, no clickbait. Click now, no clickbait, 100 V-Buck giveaway, gift card giveaway, Robux giveaway, Roblox giveaway, Minecraft gift card giveaway. Are there any in-game currencies in Minecraft? Like, if so, what is the point? I haven't played Minecraft in a long while. It's been like a solid like half a decade since I've touched that game, maybe even more. Like, I gotta go revisit that sometime. Excited to see what kind of new stuff they added. Are they even developing that game still? Because you don't hear about it too much anymore. Anyways, that's about it for episode 3 of Building Thomson Island. I'm really happy with how everything turned out, and I'll leave you with a cinematic B-roll. See you in the next one.